Here's a quick walk around of the bed that we're going to be prepping for paint. As you can see, it has barely any rust on it. If anything, it's just surface rust. There's a couple small dents on it, but nothing major. A quick skim coat of body filler will fix that. Doesn't even need to be banged out. The dents are so small. That one right there on that right side is probably the biggest one. I'm probably going to try and hammer that one out, but the other ones will just use some filler and we'll be all set. Okay, here I'm basically just feeling the side panel with my hand, just feeling it for any small dents or imperfections. Any ones that I do find, I'm just going to circle with a Sharpie or magic marker, just so I remember where they are. And I'll be grinding that paint down where I'm circling it and DAing around it, and then filling it with some lightweight body filler. Alright, next, here I'm just going to mix up some of that lightweight body filler and begin to apply it to those areas that I grinded down. Okay, so this is after the first pass of sanding it down with, I believe, 80 grit or 120. I don't quite recall. I think it was 120 with the DA. Obviously, you're going to see some spots that I need to go over again. I'm going to go over this with 180 by hand with a block. Here's a couple of good examples of some spots that you can clearly tell need to be sanded a little bit more. Again, going over that with 180 with a block should flatten that down nice and smooth. Alright, so once this coat is sanded down with 180, I'm going to take a red Scotch-Brite and go over the entire exterior of the bed. Make sure I get all the edges, all the corners, and scuff it down real good. I'm going to then clean off the entire surface with some metal prep, wipe it off with a tack rag, and then shoot 2 or 3 coats, heavy coats of 2K primer. Here's a shot of that 2K primer applied with a quick layer of guide coat, that black paint. And what you're going to see here is beginning of the wet sanding process to get rid of the guide coat. And I'll be using 400 grit sandpaper with a flexible block. And I'll be using a sponge and a bucket of water just to keep the surface nice and wet while I'm sanding it. So you'll see as I'm starting to sand this with a 400 grit wet, you'll notice the reflection that you're going to start to see on the side of the bed. That should basically be the entire bed once you're done sanding it with that 400, just to get it ready for that paint to adhere to it. So after the entire bed is sanded down with a 400 wet, I'm going to start to just rinse it off, get it somewhat clean, wipe it down with sponge. There's going to be some areas where I burned through the primer and there's bare metal. Those will have to be sprayed with epoxy primer just to seal it and prevent any rust from forming. But other than that, this is pretty much ready to paint. After again prepping the metal, wiping it with a tack cloth, it's ready for base coat.
Two on that side and one on the back. Or...
Yeah.
Actually, let me just slide this thing out of the way.
So after a couple months online, I was able to sell the original bed. It's just to show that you can move this F350, F350 bed with just 3 guys. It's really not too heavy. So this will be a wrap on part one. If you like the video, make sure you click the thumbs up button. If you want to see further progress on it, make sure you click subscribe. As you can see, there's plenty of work ahead of me. So some shots of the frame I'm probably going to be tackling next on it, so stay tuned.
Didn't know what the moon was, thought it was self-illuminated, and didn't know the signs of stars. Now, apparently,